vocabulary, the key vocab in the question, and then aligning it to where it is in the actual text you're reading. It's about locating the words, and then you only read the little section with the key information in it in order to answer the question. Otherwise, it'll get a bit confusing. So how do you improve it is by doing lots of practices, and my strategy is look at the question, read for the keyword, and then go look back in the actual text for the keyword and only read that little section. So just gonna welcome everyone real quick again. Nice to meet you all. My name is Angela. I just graduated from high school last year, also just turned 18 last year. So this year I'm trying to get some 9s in IELTS while I do my university studies at the University of Queensland. So right now we're just discussing how to improve reading comprehension, and my tip is you have to locate the keyword from the question in the actual text and then read that little section of the text. Do not read the whole thing, and do not try to understand the entire thing either because it takes too long. It's not a bad thing. Thank you so much for the sign, guys. Thank you. It's not a bad thing to understand the text, but it does take really long. And even for someone with lots of practice, like I've done lots of practice on the reading comprehension, if I read the entire text in detail, I will still run out of time. I will have like about 5 minutes at the end where I struggle. So you don't have to read the entire text. You don't have to understand every single word. You just have to read the key information. Fabulous, thank you. Okay, so I am losing on the time management. Okay, that is a very common question as well. I do sometimes lose some time. Depending on what kind of question I was doing. So sometimes when I do the questions around list of headings or finding information in a paragraph, like this is a piece of information, which paragraph, these kind of questions itself involves more words, right? And it's harder to locate it because you have to read more. So that's it. Thank you so much for the glasses. Nice, that's so cute. Okay, so that is a time management thing. And then what I would recommend you do is complete all of the easier questions first. If you find a certain type of questions more difficult, make sure you leave enough time and then make sure that you remember to go back to it. You can choose to go back to it at the very end after you finish all the easy questions, because you know the stress involved with doing the test as well. If you do all the hard questions and then you realize you can't do it, you're stuck on the question, you'll get more nervous, right? Yeah. Okay. So the time management, it is quite difficult, but it's not impossible. What you would do is do more about reading the key vocab and locating it in the original text instead of reading the whole thing. Because when we read the whole thing, it does definitely take way too long. They don't give you enough time for that, which is really annoying. I get you, man. Okay, just gonna welcome everyone who came in. Nice to meet you all. My name is Angela. I just graduated from high school last year, also just turned 18 last year. So this year I'm trying to get some 9s in IELTS while I do my university studies at the University of Queensland. So 连线 about the connect. As I've promised before, when I reach 30,000 followers, I will start to do some connect so we can actually talk to each other online, and I can give you some guide on how to learn English online. However, right now, I'm just going to talk at you for the right input. Well, yeah, talk at you, right? I know it's a little bit, it sounds a little bit weird, right? But this is about getting the right input in order to do the right output. So I'm not going to do connect right now. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm not gonna do any connect right now. 现在我还没有开始做连线，我准备到3万粉丝再开始连线，所以大家可以记得给我点点关注和小心心，谢谢。Okay, so everyone, please feel free to ask me any questions about how to learn English or how to learn IELTS. Yeah. Okay, 大家可以用中文或者英文来问我问题，我都可以听得懂。Because I am bilingual, I can speak 2 languages fluently, which is Chinese and English. So you can feel free to ask me questions in any of these languages. Okay. Do you think IELTS back in China is more difficult? Okay. Generally saying, I think it's perceived to be more difficult. I don't know the reason why. I don't know the reason behind it. But when I was talking to my manager, Just San, he did tell me as well, IELTS in China tend to be like tend to be harder to get a higher mark on. It's just a phenomenon that's observed by a lot of people. I can't exactly tell you why or like how it works, but a lot of people does tell me that. Okay, so I can't exactly say it's more difficult because I haven't done it yet. I feel like long as you can use the language well and long as you do lots of practice questions, getting ready for all sorts of questions that might pop up, it wouldn't be an issue anywhere you do it. It shouldn't be too much harder just by the logic. Okay. So just gonna welcome everyone who came in. Nice to meet you all. My name is Angela. I just graduated from high school last year. I also just turned 18 last year. So this year I'm trying to get some nice in IELTS for I do my university studies at the University of Queensland. Okay, and the reason why I want 30,000 followers before I start doing Connect is because I want more people to listen to the process. So because when there's less people, I can't there's less people I'm helping, right? So I want more people to join me and to listen to the process and listen to how I am teaching in order to help more of you at once. And also, of course, I want more followers because, it's fun to get more followers. Generally, I am not selling any lessons or any products right now. I'm just doing this because I think it's quite meaningful to teach others how to learn a language, and it's quite interesting to talk to all my friends here online. Yeah, so this is just out of my own interest, I guess it's a hobby. Can you say live streaming is a hobby? Maybe. What are your hobbies, guys? So for those who can understand me, can you answer me? What are your hobbies? Okay. 哪国人? I am Chinese born Chinese. I use the term Chinese born Chinese to describe myself. So I am fully Chinese. Actually, I'm from the north side of China. 我是北方人 from 山西太原。有没有老乡给我扣一个一? Is there anyone from the same hometown as me? Please let me know. I'm always quite interested in knowing how many people here are from the same hometown. Or you can tell me which area you live in. I think I live in 迎泽区. Yeah, I think that's the area I live in. But I'm not sure. I could be wrong. I've moved a few times when I lived back in China. Okay, 可以的，我可以看得懂中文. Yes, I can read Chinese and I can speak in Chinese as well. However, here in my live streaming, I only speak in English to provide all my friends here with an immersive and realistic English environment where we can learn together. Okay. So for everyone who can't understand me, what you can do is to answer my questions and take some notes for those who cannot understand me. Thank you so much for the sign. Thank you. And for those who cannot understand me as well, I'll try to sound as clear as possible. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm a little bit laggy today. Thank you so much for the sign. Thank you. I love how supportive we all are here. It's lovely to see so many of my old fans here as well. Old fans. Yeah, past fans. Okay. So for those who cannot understand me as much as you want to, I will try to speak a little bit slower just to make it clearer, and I will try to sound as clear as possible. And I will ask some simpler questions and use simple vocabulary to start with. And later on, at the very end of my live streaming, for those who want to hear me answering some IELTS practice questions for speaking, please stay until the very end because that's what I'll do at the very end. I'll try to use some more advanced vocabulary I know, and I try to use the proper structure. Thank you for the sign, guys. Wow, you're being super supportive today. That's really cute. Okay, so let's see. I just need to pay attention to, oh, what the heck? Are you in US right now? I am not in US right now. I am in Australia, in Brisbane City. So this is in the office. Was anyone here today from my Sunday live streaming? Have anyone seen me on Sunday here? Please let me know. You know when I live streamed at the University of Queensland on campus? Yeah, so that's a different setting. But right now I am live streaming here in Brisbane City, which is in the office today. It's a little bit less interesting than the actual campus itself. Okay, so what am I doing right now? All I'm doing right now is having a casual chat with very easy vocabulary to help my friends here learn some basic conversational English together, basically. So I thought this would be quite meaningful because obviously academic English applies less. Like you probably don't use it as much as daily English. So this is the reason why for the first half of my session, I always would like to focus on some easy vocab, some conversational chats. Also, because obviously we're scrolling on TikTok, right? So we don't want it to make it too stressful. Okay. And does anyone have any questions for me? You can ask it in Chinese or English. I can understand both. Am I studying in the US? I am studying as an international student here in Australia, so at the University of Queensland, not the US. I haven't been to the US, to be honest. I don't know if I would like it there, so that's the reason why. I haven't even applied any US universities because I thought it would be quite like a stressful environment if I have to move there, you know. And it's quite different from Australia and China where I've lived before. Okay, so how did I practice my speaking speed? First of all, speaking speed is something that comes naturally when you're used to the language, the structure, and the vocabulary. So once you're used to how to use the vocabulary, once you're more fluent in your writing or interpreting, so I think how to improve your speed, in summary, is try to read more things out loud, to try to get more input, and try to do more practice on exactly speaking. This is really hard to describe because I would say it comes more naturally as you practice English more and as you use the language more, you tend to speak faster. And this is also about the person as well. So some of my friends, even though they're local, they're born here, fully white people, fully Australian. White people is less polite, so we try to avoid that word. Like, even though they're fully Australian, they're born here, they still don't speak as fast. It just depends on the person. I guess I'm a very fast-paced person, and I want to go at a faster pace, so I speak quite fast as well. But other than that, how to practice it is by speaking out loud more. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. The makeup tutorials. Okay, that's a really good idea. My makeup, I will briefly go through what I do. Today, the makeup is not super heavy. Like, usually I would emphasize my eyes a little bit more, but because I woke up really late today, once again, I woke up late and I had uni in the morning, so I actually didn't do as much. But I think the brief run through of how I do my makeup is I would put on the foundation first, foundation 粉底液. So I would put on a layer of foundation, and then I would just pat it out and, like, you know, just to generally blend your skin tone to make it look more even. And then I would do my eyebrows using an eyebrow pen. 我会画一下眉毛. Yeah, but it's very light today because I thought I want to try some different styles. Okay, and other than that, I did my eyeliner. This is really important. It makes your eyes open. Like, it literally makes your eyes look so much wider, and it makes your eyes seem like you're a lot more it gives your eyes more like sparkly kind of light kind of thing. I don't know how it does that, but the eyeliner just makes the whole thing different. So I do my eyeliner always, yeah, and I don't do eyelashes because I think it's too much effort and it's really difficult to remove the mascara. Okay, so let's keep looking. Someone is asking about my teeth. Okay, so I have been to an orthodontist, so I got my teeth fixed and then I got Invisalign done. So I had an overbite before, overbite 有点龅牙. And then I went to the orthodontist. I got some of my wisdom teeth pulled out. Yeah, but no, 没有做牙贴面. How do you actually say that? Is it like a ceramic teeth? Yeah, I think that's how you say it, ceramic teeth. I haven't got that done because it looked really painful. Okay. So just gonna welcome everyone who came in. Nice to meet you all. My name is Angela. I just graduated from high school last year. Also just turned 18 last year. So this year I'm trying to get some 9s in IELTS while I do my university studies at the University of Queensland. Okay, so how to improve listening? I'm trying to answer the questions one by one. 怎么来提升听力? So I would say start by building your vocabulary because listening is quite important to actually understand. Unlike reading comprehension where you can just align words to the text, it's more important in listening that you actually understand what they're saying and what are the key words you need to fill in. So if you want to get more listening correct, like questions, what I would say is read the question first and look at the gap. So what kind of word are you looking for in their script? But other than that, if you want to improve listening in general, what you can do is watch some English drama, read lots of books, and then obviously listening to my live streaming is also a really good method because I will be giving some advice, and this is the right input in order to produce the right output, right? Okay, so a lot of things about how to learn English is about the practice. Okay, and it's also about the ability to comprehend things and to understand the vocabulary. So I think vocabulary is definitely a very important thing. It's something that we always work on and try to build on more. And how do you improve your vocabulary? You can use AI. You can ask AI for the top 20 most commonly used English words to start with and try to memorize them and use them to make some sentences, and that's how you learn it. So don't just memorize it because just memorizing it is not going to get you very far just because you don't know how to apply the word. What we need to do is apply the word to a real life context, which is by making sentences with it. Just gonna welcome everyone again. Nice to meet you all. My name is Angela. I just graduated from high school last year, also just turned 18 last year. So this year I'm trying to get some 9s in IELTS while I do my university studies at the University of Queensland. Right now I am still trying to learn IELTS with my teacher Nick. So for everyone who have seen 雅思考官尼克，大家可以搜索我的老师。He does the mock exams here on live on TikTok for free, and then that's when you can test your abilities and see where you're at and what you need to improve further in order to get a higher score or how to improve English in general. And what I do here is I would like to chat with you guys in pure English to create an immersive and realistic English environment where we can learn together. 我可以听得懂中文和英文，所以大家可以用中文和英文来给我评论。Okay. 说英语的时候上不来气，不会调节呼吸。Okay, I think you see sometimes in my live streaming you notice that I go a little bit breathless as well because we tend to speak really long sentences without a stop in between and we'll run out of air like that. So what we can do is we say a bit of our sentence, pause a little, breathe and then keep going. It's sometimes about the nerves as well. 可能我们只是紧张, so we can try to adjust how we breathe and don't feel afraid to stop between your sentences or between the ideas. You can say, hello everyone. Welcome to my live streaming. My name is Angela. Yeah, we can do the pauses, but just to get it more fast, and then if you want to speak faster, you take out some breaks, but don't completely take out all of the breaks. Try to put breaks in between sentences or put breaks after the idea you want to emphasize. You can say, I would like to get some 9s in IELTS this year. Yep, so that's how you can put breaks after important ideas. Okay, so yep, I am still trying to get the 9s and I am struggling with writing right now. That is also a reason why I haven't done the test yet, because I want to improve as much as I can and be as close to a 9 as I can before I actually do the test. So I can update you guys on how my listening and reading are going. So my listening is currently at a 9, like almost a solid 9, because I can understand everything and I think the scripts are quite easy to catch the keywords in there. But reading is slightly harder for me. I haven't done any reading comprehension during my high school studies, so reading comprehension is a lot more difficult. Yeah. And right now my reading comprehension is at about 8.5. I got 4 questions wrong in my last test, and in my best approach, I got only 2 questions wrong. So it's very close to a 9, and that's what I am aiming for. So I am still studying with my teacher, Nick. If you guys search up 雅思考官尼克, so that's my teacher. Yeah, and he is a lovely person. He's super patient. Yeah. Okay. Is there any other ones? Good day, mate. How are you going? Yes, Australian accent. For those who haven't seen me before, welcome. My name is Angela. I just graduated from high school last year. Also just turned 18 last year. So this year I'm trying to get some 9s in IELTS while I do my university studies at the University of Queensland. So right now I am still in the progress of learning IELTS and learning how to approach the test and learning how to improve my English in general. Because I've got a really high score when I graduated, so my English was 99 out of 100 when I graduated high school. I thought I could challenge myself to further improve my academic writing and my academic use of English. This is a reason why I would like to get some 9s in IELTS, and that's what I am aiming for. However, obviously, I have not done any IELTS before. I have not done any practices before either. If we talk about how long I've been learning English in general, I've been learning English for about 3 or 4 years properly. But if we talk about IELTS, I've been learning IELTS systematically for only like 3 or 4 months. So this is quite different from what I've done before. And it's like a new system to me as well. So I'm still trying to get used to all of this. Okay, so are you the lady who hosts the street challenges? Oh wow, I see some of my teacher's followers here. Yes, I am the lady who hosts the street challenges. And because I don't exactly know why, but we haven't done more street challenges recently. Guys, give me your opinion. If you've seen our street challenges on my teacher Nick's homepage, let me know what you think about it. Do you want me to do more? Do you want me to feel it more often? Do you want it to be like a constant thing you can see? Please give me your opinion, guys. 大家觉得我们的街头挑战怎么样? Okay, so let's move on. Do I put pauses in my speech? I don't. Yeah, as you can notice, I don't really pause between my speech either. Sometimes it's because I'm scared if I pause, people find it boring and will leave. And sometimes it's because I want to emphasize the fluency you will be able to get up to after a certain amount of practice. So this is done for a purpose, obviously. But it is okay to breathe more often when you're actually talking to someone in real life. Okay, so just gonna welcome everyone who came in. Nice to meet you all. My name is Angela. I just graduated from high school last year, also just turned 18 last year. So this year I'm trying to get some 9s in IELTS while I do my university studies at the University of Queensland. Yeah. So that was a really fast version of that. It was actually speeded up a little bit more than it should be. So the normal speed we talk at is about this kind of speed I am speaking right now. So my introduction is done at a faster pace, and this is a kind of normal speaking speed when you talk to local people here or people with the English as their first language. 正常跟外国人交流也是这么快语速吗？可能会稍微慢一点. It depends on who you are talking to. Okay, I will try to demo a realistic talking speed. Say, for example, I met someone at university. They would ask me, oh, hey, which high school did you go to? And how do you find your subjects? I would answer them, yeah, I went to Canmore State High School here in Queensland, and I find my subjects quite difficult sometimes because I do both science and commerce together. So a dual degree, obviously, it's double pressure. Yeah, okay. So it's not as fast, but here I'm trying to provide a realistic and immersive environment so we can learn English together. So I will try to emulate the real English environment. However, sometimes I might go faster or slower depending on what I'm trying to emphasize. Okay, so what score did I get in the IELTS exam? I think a lot of people will be really curious about that because I promise I've been doing that for a while already. However, I have not done the exam yet, so I'm still in the progress of preparing for it. I know it sounds like a really long time, but I've actually only been studying IELTS for about 3 or 4 months. So it's not been a super long time yet. And so thank you for those who stay with me on my journey to 9. Yeah, but I haven't done the test yet. And right now my speaking is an estimate score of 8.5. I am trying to improve grammar specifically because my vocabulary is alright now. And other than that, I am focusing on writing because I find writing the hardest aspect to get the higher marks. You know, it is actually quite difficult. The IELTS writing are quite difficult. I'll be very honest with you. My IELTS writing is at about a 7.5 to 8, so I'm not even at a solid 8 for my writing. The reason being that I graduated here in high school. However, when we learned English in high school, when we learned literature studies, when we wrote essays, it is often really long text. So we write 800 words to 1,000 words in 2 hours given time. And that is a lot easier for me because that's a format I'm used to. So IELTS test is a much shorter length. It's got about 250 words requirement in 40 minutes time. And that requires you to think faster. It requires you to say things more concisely. So instead of being able to give you like a longer length that you can put things in and try to add on to it in order to get the marks, they make it more concise and they put the time tighter. Yeah. So that is a reason why I found writing a lot harder. Okay, is there any other questions here? Okay, 怎么练习口语? So how you would practice speaking? I would recommend this by reading out loud. So reading things out loud really gives you that extra layer of processing in your brain. So it helps you remember better. It helps you to get used to the structures, how English is spoken, because I think it's a slightly different structure from Chinese, right? Our first language. Okay. So what we can do is read books out loud or write things by ourselves and then read it out loud. 可以大声读出来我们写的东西或者是看到的书，就是大声读出来。And then that will help you to get used to the pronunciation. That'll help you to speak more fluently because you're not thinking of something off the top of your head. You're really just reading off a page, right? So it's a bit easier. And other than that, when you're more ready, you can get ready to answer some questions by yourself. You can ask AI to generate some English questions and you can try to answer it. Say, for example, how have your day been? I would answer that by, well, my day has been very busy. I had a very tight schedule today. I didn't really get time to have lunch either. Yeah. So by doing lots of practice, by reading off a script and then moving on to thinking of how to speak by ourselves is what I would recommend. Okay, so speak is not bad. Let's see. Just gonna welcome her who came in again. Nice to meet you all. My name is Angela. I just graduated from high school last year, also just turned 18 last year. So this year I'm trying to get some 9s in IELTS while I do my university studies at the University of Queensland. So right now I am still in the process of preparing for my IELTS and I am currently learning with my teacher Nick. If you guys all search up 雅思考官尼克, that's my teacher. And he does the free IELTS mock exams here on TikTok. He is a previous IELTS examiner, so he knows what he's doing and he knows the criteria very well. So I think it's a great opportunity. So for those who want to learn IELTS or learn English, please feel free to go check my teacher out as well and see if you want to do a mock exam with him. Okay, so 什么时候直播? Okay, on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, I will be live streaming here from 11:20ish, midday to 12:20ish. Okay. 我在每周二、周四和周五都会在中午的时间11点20到12点20在这个 office 里面直播。然后周六日呢，我可能会有一个小彩蛋直播。So in different places, I will go to like a different place, maybe on campus in my university, or maybe I will go to a park, or maybe I'll even go to the beaches to live stream. So I will show you guys my life. So I'll show all of my online friends here my life as an international student and what I do outside of just work and study. Okay, so 不懂英语1个月能不能学会口语? So when we say we don't know any English, or when we say we're at a beginner's level, in truth, I think everyone knows a little bit of English. I'm sure you know hello and how are you, right? So a little bit of English. It depends on where you are right now. And a really good way is to first go try to do a mock exam with my teacher, Nick. And it depends on how well you practice and what the strategies are. However, 1 month seems like a little bit of a short time, right? I would say at least if you don't have any basics at all, like if you only can understand hello, how are you, then maybe 1 month is a little bit short. I would say, to be precise, I can't really tell because it depends on the person and what level you're on right now. 1个月能不能学会需要看你现在在哪一个，你现在英语水平怎么样。OK, 我会推荐大家，如果是觉得自己是零基础，可以先去 如果你能听懂我说的东西，能听懂我说的英文，可以去跟我的老师尼克搜雅思考官尼克，跟他做一个模考，然后呢，他可以帮你来看你的水平在哪里，然后需要 improve 哪些东西。Okay.So that is a way to find out. However, it is really, really difficult. See, it is really difficult for me to tell you how long it'll take because I don't know where you are exactly. And then maybe once I can open up the Connect and I can do Connect with you guys, I can better help you out with exactly what level you're on and how to improve. Okay, so 30加, of course, so anyone can do IELTS. As I've said before, anyone from any age group can do IELTS. It's not about the age, it's about whether you're willing to learn and whether you want to learn the English language. It's not just English, it's languages in general. So you obviously we can always start learning things and we can always learn different things. And language is more like a skill. So of course you can learn a skill at any time. And the strategies are words, try to use the words, try to learn the words, and then make sentences. After you make sentences, you can read the sentences out loud to practice your speaking. And then what you can do, thank you so much for the sign, thank you, Fancy. Okay, and then what you can do is try to make paragraphs instead. Okay, so just gonna welcome everyone who came in. Nice to meet you all. My name is Angela. I just graduated from high school last year and I also just turned 18 last year. Thank you, Fancy. That's so cute. Okay, so this year I'm trying to get some nice in IELTS while I do my university studies at the University of Queensland. So Nick, my teacher Nick, he have not finished work. He's actually going to come back after the lunch break. So right now during his break, I would like to chat with you guys in English to provide an immersive and realistic English environment where we can learn together. Okay. So my teacher Nick will be back afterwards. So at about, I think, 2:30, he might start again doing the mock exams here online. Okay, so let me see what other topics I have. I am so glad that I don't have to do the math modeling anymore and we moved on to philosophy. So the philosophy classes are quite interesting. We talk about how to think. What on earth? Okay, so we talk about how to think about your thinking in philosophy in simple words, and we're talking about the ethics of science and how we approach scientific theories. So this is quite interesting, I guess. And this week, as I've said before, I have a little mock test coming up. Well, not a mock test, it's a mini test coming up at uni, which is quite stressful because I've been trying to revise, and that's a little bit of the reason why I'm a little bit not in the mood today, because I've been trying to revise and I got lots of things going on in my head. We have so much content to go through. We have to learn about the cell membrane, the chemical structures behind the cell membrane. We have to learn about all the organelles and then the ATP and then DNA replication, which is really, really difficult. Okay, so just gonna welcome everyone who came in. Nice to meet you all. My name is Angela. I just graduated from high school last year. I also just turned 18 last year. So this year I'm trying to get some 9s in IELTS while I do my university studies at the University of Queensland. And I might start doing some IELTS practice questions soon because yep, it's almost the end. Okay. 4-1还有机会学好吗？目前在学新概念。Okay. What does this mean? So what level are you at right now? 现在我们是什么水平大概是？ So can you understand everything I am saying? If you can understand everything I am saying right now, you can definitely still learn. I think it's really difficult. Okay, I will just make a general statement here. It's difficult for me to judge how long or to what extent you can learn English because I'm not sure what level you're on right now. So let's use this as an estimate. If you can follow what I say right now, and if you can answer my questions in English, and if you can understand everything I am saying right now, I think you're at a quite good level right now. And what you can do is to use the right strategies, keep practicing, use lots of vocabulary to make lots of different sentences. I think you can definitely do it. If you can understand what I am saying, your English is definitely at quite a good level already. Yep, so that's what I would say. And how we get a higher score is definitely by building vocabulary. So in IELTS especially, the higher score you want, the more they emphasize vocabulary and the correct use of vocabulary. Yeah, exactly. 完全能听懂可能是5.5到6左右. Because I am speaking to you guys with the realistic English I would speak to my friends. So I speak to my online friends here like how I speak to my friends in real life here in Australia. This is a normal talking speed and a completely immersive English environment. And all the topics I'm talking about is sometimes more difficult to understand and sometimes easier. However, this is casual daily language at a very high speed, spoken at a high speed. So if you can understand what I'm saying right now, I would say you're pretty much on track to get a higher score for IELTS, or at least you can you have an adequate level of English to keep learning. Yeah, but it's not about what you have right now either. With the right strategies, if you start by building vocabulary, making lots of sentences, you will be able to get there anyways. So it's just hard for me to say to each one of you about what level you're on right now and like how you can, it's hard for me to say how long it'll take you and how much further you can go on the journey of learning English because I don't know exactly what level you're on right now. I'm so sorry. Okay, so if you have any very specific questions, please feel free to private message me and I will try to answer them as best as I can. Okay. So just gonna welcome everyone who came in again. Nice to meet you all. My name is Angela. I just graduated from high school last year. Also just turned 18 last year. So this year I'm trying to get some 9s in IELTS while I do my university studies at the University of Queensland. And right now I'm still preparing for my IELTS test. I might do it slightly later because I still don't feel prepared. You know, the butterflies in your stomach as you walk into exams. I'm just scared of the test in general, and it sounds quite scary because the questions are quite difficult. For those who have been to IELTS test, can you tell me what it feels like? I am super scared. Okay, even in my mock exam with my teacher Nick, he doesn't bite, he's super nice, but I am still so scared. So yeah, okay. Full English. Okay. So everyone, welcome. Please remember to follow and like if you would like to learn English with me. 如果大家想跟我一起学习英语，或者觉得我直播有帮助大家一起学习英语，请记得给我点点关注和小心心。And as I've always promised before, once I get to 30,000 followers, where more people can see me and more people can learn English with me together, I will open up the Connect so we can actually learn here online. Yeah, so that's just a little thing I'm making, like a little activity we can do together, a little goal we can approach all together as a group. Thank you so much for the sign. Thank you. I love it. Okay, I love how we're all interacting today. 零基础可以学吗? Of course, my answer is no matter what level you're on right now for your English, you can always learn, and you can always learn a lot about the language. Because I wouldn't say learning a language is difficult. As long as you have the perseverance and as long as you have the motivation to learn the language, it is not impossible. Anyone at any time can learn English. 零基础当然可以学习英语. Okay, because it's more like a skill. We all have to start somewhere. But what do we mean by like no English at all? It's almost impossible to not know any English at all. Like you would at least know hello, right? The very common word hello, and you might know thank you. So that's also some English. 所以得看我们现在基础在哪里. Okay. And what I would recommend you do is search out my teacher Nick, 雅思考官尼克，可以搜索雅思考官尼克，然后可以跟他做一个雅思的模考，来看一下我们现在大概是在什么样水平。You might know more than you think. This is what I tell a lot of my students as well. Be brave and put yourself out there. Do some tests, do some practice questions, and I will go through them with you to see like where you are right now. Because you might be doing better than you think. 可能你知道的比你可能你的英语比你想的要好很多。Yep, so that's what I would say. So this is the reason why I recommend a lot of people, a lot of my friends here, go to my teacher Nick and do a mock exam with him. Because with me, I cannot really tell based on what you're telling me how good your English is right now, which I am really sorry about. And later on, we'll open up Connect so I can help you guys out better. Okay, so let's see. 多少单词量简单会少量单词简单日常. Okay, so that is not absolutely no English, right? And what you can do is, since you already know some vocabulary, what you can do is use this vocabulary to make sentences. And you can get AI to check your sentences and help you fix the grammar of your sentences. OK, 我们已经知道一些单词，然后呢都是简单日常单词，可以用这些单词来造句，不用担心语法会错，我们可以用 AI 来改我们的语法。就先造一些句子，然后我们可以大声读出来这些句子来练习口语。So that's what I would recommend to you is to start writing sentences and read out your sentences, and you can get the AI to check your grammar for you. Yeah, okay. So just gonna welcome everyone who came in. Nice to meet you all. My name is Angela. I just graduated from high school last year and also just turned 18 last year. So this year I'm trying to get some 9s in IELTS while I do my university studies at the University of Queensland. And everyone here, please feel free to ask me questions in English or Chinese. I can understand both. Okay, 听力也很差，但是文字能看懂. Okay, so in that case, it's about the pronunciation of the words, so you can't really understand what they're saying, right? In this case, what I would say is you would slow down the listening script and try to see if you can understand it better when it's slower. Okay, and then other than that, what you can do is watch some drama. Because in drama, there is a context. You can see what the people are doing. So the words are describing their actions and are describing the scene. So that is really helpful as well. And about a specific drama, I don't know what I should recommend. My favorite drama to watch is Good Doctors, but I don't know how good that is helping you guys to learn English. Does anyone have any recommendations? Please feel free to tell me if anyone have any good recommendations for English drama. Yep. Okay. So just gonna welcome everyone again. Nice to meet you all. My name is Angela. Thank you for the sign. I just graduated from high school last year and also just turned 18 last year. So this year I'm trying to get some 9s in IELTS while I do my university studies at the University of Queensland. And so right now I haven't really done the test yet because I'm still preparing for it. I'm slightly struggling with the writing part because I find it quite different from the writing we used to do in high school. The structure is quite different and then it's within a shorter time frame. So that means I have to make myself more concise and I have to be able to remember all the good vocabulary I know within that short amount of time. Okay, so let's think what else I can talk about. There's nothing interesting going on. Also, I haven't had lunch today. The reason being, I was asking Student Central about something and then it was really late, so I caught the bus. I came to City, but then I actually caught the wrong bus on the way and I came to City really late. So that's the reason why I haven't had lunch yet. Okay, so am I a native speaker? I am not a native speaker. I was born in China and I spent some time in China studying and then I moved to Australia as an international student. So I've been an international student for a couple of years. And when I first came here, I would say I had no English. I only know how to say, hi, how are you? Okay, so that was all I could say when I first came to Australia. And what I had to do, I'm going to put out the example, the very classical example again about my mom making me do textbooks. As the classical mom, she made me do a lot of textbook questions, do a lot of practices. Yeah, and it was like the old school way of memorizing words. I had to force memorize vocabulary. I had to put the vocabulary into the sentences, fill in the gap kind of questions. I had to do reading comprehension on a book. Yeah. So that's how I started learning English properly. It was not very systematic. It was rather just dry and boring. I mean, like, it's an old school way of learning, right? Obviously using the books and then doing exercise books, yeah. But other than that, my primary school teacher, she was super nice. So back when I was doing primary school in China, my teacher, she's always very patient. And then when she goes through the content with us, she would tell us what each word means. She would find a picture for us. So that's what I remember, a very brief memory of English classes in primary school. However, as a naughty kid I am, I didn't enjoy English, so I didn't really listen to her. So I don't know if that helped, but maybe it did in building a very strong foundation for later on. Okay. So just gonna welcome everyone who came in. Nice to meet you all. My name is Angela. I just graduated from high school last year. I also just turned 18 last year. So this year I'm trying to get some 9s in IELTS while I do my university studies at the University of Queensland. So here in my live streaming, I would like to provide an immersive and realistic English environment where we can learn English together. Immersive, 沉浸式的 and realistic, 真实的. So I always refuse to slow down because when I slow down, it's no longer real, right? So this is the kind of speaking speed you will be exposed to if you study abroad. 学费多少钱? As an international student here, if you're doing universities here in Australia at the University of Queensland, it depends on your specific course, but my course is $20,000 per semester. Yeah, so this semester is $20,000, which is kind of expensive, but it's not super expensive comparing to study in other countries. So it's just like an average fee that you would pay as an international student. Yeah, international students have the fees are just, it's crazy. I don't know what to say about it. Okay, so am I in China right now? I am not in China right now. I am here currently in Australia, in Brisbane City, in the office I usually live streaming in. And then I don't know if anyone here is from Sunday, so I did a live streaming of out of office in UQ the other day. Okay, 20,000, not W, 20,000, 2,000刀. Yep, 20,000, there we go, thank you. Okay, so let's keep looking. So, does anyone have any other questions for me? If not, we might start going through some other English questions. Okay. Okay. Someone is talking about the fact I'm speaking really fast. 只顾自己快. Okay. The reason being, I want to create a realistic English environment and I try to sound as clear as I can. So this is done on purpose because I know there are people here who want to practice in a realistic English environment. A lot of my followers, a lot of my friends online here tell me that it's difficult to practice English without the real environment. And what I want to do is to provide the real English environment where we can learn together. It is not because I want to talk fast for the sake of talking fast. It is not about lessons either. Honestly, I am not exactly advertising for anything yet because I don't even do lessons. What I recommend is I really want to help those who actually want to learn a new skill, which is the language English. It's not about just learning English for learning English's sake. It's about learning a new skill. It allows you to travel to English-speaking countries better, and it allows you to use your brain better. It's not just about learning the language for the sake of learning. And the reason why I'm speaking at a fast pace, I'm not doing it on purpose. It is natural. It is quite natural. This is my natural speaking speed. If I get the opportunity to maybe feel me talking to my friend one day, I will be able to do that. If I do that, you can see that this is actually the normal speed we talk at. And the reason being, I want to give all of my friends here a realistic English environment where we can improve together. Me, myself as well, I am learning IELTS right now, so I am still a student myself. I do private tutoring. I haven't started any classes here on Douyin though, so my goal is not to sell anything or sell any classes. To start with, I just want to help everyone. And obviously, for those who do need more guidance, I would recommend you to my teacher, Nick. But that's just because if you want to improve your English further. Okay, and I want to respond to that comment because that is quite me, and that is it's misleading. It's not what I am doing. My goal here is to help everyone together to build an English environment for those who actually I do at uni. I am doing a Bachelor of Science and the Bachelor of Commerce, and I am majoring in biomedical science. So I would like to do research at the same time of learning about how to apply my research to the real world. Okay. And sometimes it's a little bit difficult because the science part is actually quite difficult. We have to learn about mass modeling. We have to learn about how to apply a model to a real-life context. We have to deal with messy data sometimes because data in biology are often not very nice. Okay, 怎么开始学英语的？I will always share this journey where I started off with my mom making me do exercise books. Yeah, so I always say that my mom made me do exercise books and that built a really strong foundation for me. But the formula to success is you learn vocabulary and then you learn vocabulary and then you will start learning how to use vocabulary, applying it to real life context. Okay, so大家可以先开始学习单词，学习完单词可以用这些单词来造句，然后呢，再用这些句子去写一些短的段落，然后呢，我们可以把这些段落读出来，大声的读出来，来帮助我们更好的去记住怎么使用这些单词。So that's my recommendation. And that's a general way you can learn by yourself at home as well. You can get the AI to come up with a list of commonly used words and then you can start making sentences with it. Remember what it means and then how to use it is quite important. Okay. So right now my speaking is at a 8.5 estimate. I haven't done the actual exam yet because I'm still in the progress preparing. And as I've said before, I am quite stressed about exams and I get really scared when I have to do exams. So I would like to do as much preparation as I can. And the reason why I am here talking to you guys in full English is first of all because I want to provide all my friends who want to learn English with an immersive and realistic English environment. So we can do some simple learning just by scrolling through TikTok. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so and I am a tutor, so I do private tutoring for my students. I specifically teach academic writing for high school students because I graduated with a 99 out of 100, which is almost 100%, which is really close to a full score. And that's the reason why I teach academic writing at school. However, I do find the academic writing part for IELTS a lot more difficult because you have to write a short text but with the correct language and the correct use and the fancy vocabulary. Isn't that a lot more difficult? When you add to the concise, when the concise factor comes in, it's a lot harder because you have to say something using the minimal amount of words and the correct expressions. I feel that is harder than just writing a long passage for me. Okay, so, yeah, because a lot of people tell me that I speak too fast, now I want to slow down a little bit so more people can understand me. Okay, Angela, can you teach me learning? Okay, so can I teach you? I would love to teach all of my friends here who want to learn with me. Please remember to give me a follow and a like first. However, I am not doing any classes, so for whoever that was that says I'm here to sell my classes, that's ridiculous because I don't have any classes. I'm only trying to provide an immersive English environment where we can learn together. And I would like to refer those friends here who want to learn English further, who want to improve further, to my teacher Nick. So if you guys search up 雅思考官尼克, he does free IELTS mock exams, free IELTS exams, free IELTS speaking mock exams. Let's be specific here on TikTok. Yeah. So what you can do is you can go to his live streaming, you can organize a mock exam with him, and then he can help you identify your weaknesses and how you can improve a little bit. And I only would recommend you do some classes if you want to get the higher scores, or if you have a very specific goal and you already have a foundation of English. If you have no foundation, do not do classes because there's no point. That's like when I did ice skating back then. I went to this really good coach. He is a national level, an international level coach in ice skating. He teaches all of the best skaters at my rank. And me, as a beginner who literally cannot even skate on the ice, I went to him and asked him for lessons. And it turned out I couldn't do really well. And the lessons didn't really help. Why? Because I don't have the foundations. I don't even know how to skate. How can I improve further with guidance, right? So I only recommend those friends here who want to do IELTS or who want a specific score to go to my teacher. Yeah, I would only recommend lessons if you want a specific score, or if you know what you're struggling with and can't improve further. If you're stuck, you need someone to guide you. And I am not doing that because I am a student myself as well. I am still learning IELTS. Yeah, I just thought I should respond to that comment. Yeah, that was quite me. Okay, anyways, just gonna welcome everyone who came in. Nice to meet you all. My name is Angela. I just graduated from high school last year and also just turned 18 last year. So this year, I'm trying to get some 9s in IELTS while I do my university studies. Yep, I was a little bit nervous because I saw some really mean comments anyways. And I'm sorry. Okay, so what did I eat in the morning? To be honest, I skip breakfast. So I know it's not a very good habit, but I do skip breakfast. I don't eat in the morning. And then I also skip lunch today because I kind of ran out of time for lunch. I had a really tight time. I went to Student Central to ask a question about my studies at the university. And then it took a really long time. And then, yeah, I just ran out of time to eat. So for those of you talking about whether I'm native, I am not a native speaker. English is my second language. I do use it to learn. Like I did graduate high school here in Australia. So I do have a strong foundation of English. However, it is still my second language. Okay, so does anyone have any other questions? Okay, 我可以听得懂中文和英文，所以大家可以用中文或者英文来给我评论。And now I'm going to move on to some IELTS questions. And I will try to ignore some of the mean comments. I don't want to kick anyone because I want to be more inclusive and nicer, but yeah, okay. Anyways, let's move on. I'm just going to open up the laptop where I can see my questions on. Okay. So, the next one. 商品出库. Ooh. I think it's about the stocks, right? So I think it's when you sell stocks. 商品出库. Is that what you mean? Selling stocks. I think that's a correct way to say it. Someone fact check me. I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah, I'm bilingual. Thank you for those who have seen me before. Let's move on. Special talents. Okay, so now the topic is talents, and I'm going to answer some real IELTS speaking questions from the past. Do you have any special talents? I cannot say exactly whether I have any special talents because it depends on what constitutes a special talent. I would say that maybe my ability to learn a language is a special talent because as a second language speaker, I think I'm doing very well. And other than that, I think I have a talent in I just have a talent in learning language. But other than that, I don't really know if I have any other talents. I would say I have a lot of hobbies, but I don't know if I could call it a talent because I can't say I'm really good at anything. Maybe communication is a talent as well because I like talking to people and I'm very extroverted. So that could be a talent. But other than that, I don't think I have any special talents. Actually, I can do like an arm twisting. If you do this and then if you twist your arm downwards, I can do a weird gymnastic move. I am not flexible, but I can just do that. But other than that, I would say I don't have any special talents. Yeah. Okay. Do you think your talent can be useful for your future work? Why? I think my talent in learning language and my learning abilities in general may be helpful for my future work. However, I do not think my other talent, which is the ability to twist my arm downwards, will be useful for my future work, because I would like to do something in research and in public health. So I want to do public health management. And I think communication is also quite important. So I would say I have a talent in communication because I am able to speak to people, I'm extroverted, and I'm able to formulate my ideas into a fluent sentence. So all of these things are what I would say is useful for my future work. Next one. Do you think anyone in your family has the same talents? I would say my mom is a Chinese teacher in a Chinese high school, so I think she definitely have some sort of language talent within her, because she also learned English, and then I think she got an IELTS score of about 6, I'm pretty sure. And my mom only started learning English for about 2 years' time. She learned IELTS systematically for a year, preparing for the exam, doing lots of questions. I could see her sitting at her desk every day, trying to read out loud the words and then practice the sentences. So she worked really damn hard for a year, and then she received the IELTS score of 6. And she had no basic English previously, so she almost had no foundation of English. And my mom is she's about 50 years old now. So I think she definitely have a bit of a talent in learning language. And maybe I got that from her. So I got her genetics, which I'm very, very grateful of. Yeah. Okay, so does anyone else have any questions? Yes, I seem a bit nervous today, yeah. Because there's been a lot of things going on in my life currently. I've had some issues and some troubles with certain things. I'm not going to go into details yet, but yes, I've been struggling with certain things in my life, like it's just a personal thing, yeah. And I had some issues that's about, yeah. So that's the reason why I'm a little bit nervous today. I had some issues I'm experiencing in my life, some difficulties, from a very small things about I can't cook very well, and then I had to throw away a bunch of food because it went rotten in the fridge because I didn't know what to do with it. Yeah. So I've been having some trouble in my life, and that's the reason why I seem a bit nervous and a little bit down today. Okay. So what other questions do we have? At what age did you start learning English? I've been learning English for a couple of years. Yeah. So, just gonna welcome everyone who came in. Nice to meet you all. My name is Angela. I just graduated from high school last year, also just turned 18 last year. So this year, I'm trying to get some 9s in IELTS while I do my university studies at the University of Queensland. 雅思备考需要准备什么? Okay, so what do we need to prepare if we want to do an IELTS exam? What I would say is you need to prepare some practice questions. You know, the Cambridge IELTS books. I don't know if I can share that. I'm pretty sure I can't. I will try to see if I can share a cover. You know, it says Cambridge on the front, and it says like book 7, book 8, book 9. Yeah, so these are the IELTS practice question books. They're official, and I would say that's quite important. That's what you need to prepare. And in those books, all of the questions, all of the different types of questions are included. I'm pretty sure you can buy it online anywhere. So just search up Cambridge IELTS books. I think it'll come up. Yeah. So that's what you need in order to prepare for IELTS. And I would say focus on writing. That's a part where even I lose marks on. So I would say writing is quite difficult. And other than that, be careful about the speaking, because speaking is different. It's easy to make mistakes when you speak. Because you're thinking off the top of your head, it's a lot easier to make mistakes, whether it's grammar or vocabulary. Okay, so how to speak English fluently, just like me. This is about the practice. So as I've said a lot of times before, it's about the practicing speaking English out loud and reading things out loud. So what we can start is going one step back. You can just read a book. But when you're reading the book, read it out loud instead of reading it in your head. Because reading out loud gives you that extra layer of processing and allows you to understand the content better while getting used to the vocabulary and the way the sentences are structured. Yeah. And to become more fluent, it's more about just opening our mouths and speaking out loud. So the more you speak, the more fluent you will become. And don't be afraid to make any mistakes. Like, even though I know I make a lot of grammar mistakes sometimes when I'm chatting here, sometimes I do that because it's casual speaking language, speaking English. What we can do is just start by practicing. Even if you're making mistakes, at least you notice those mistakes and you'll be able to fix it later on. Okay, and let's keep going. I have a talent with coding. Wow, someone have a talent with coding. Please, I need someone to teach me coding. We literally have a course in science, in biology science, but we have to do coding in that course. I don't know why we have to do coding in that course, and we'll have to do the exam on paper. So we're learning a computer language and using it on paper. I don't know how that works and transfers, but that's really cool, and I am so glad. Okay, I wish I had a talent like that. Okay, so what would I like drink? Okay, what drinks would I like? Usually I like drinking juices or like bubble tea. Does anyone here also like bubble tea? 奶茶. I like bubble tea and then juice and then fruit tea. Maybe sometimes a little bit of alcohol. Just for your information, I am 18, so legally allowed to drink. Sometimes a bit of alcohol, but I don't like the bitter ones. I like sweet drinks. You know, I like sugar. Okay, so just gonna welcome her who came in. Nice to meet you all. My name is Angela. I just graduated from high school last year. Also just turned 18 last year. So this year I'm trying to get some 9s in IELTS while I do my university studies at the University of Queensland. Yes, oh my, you code on paper. Yes, we learn coding on a computer, but in our exam, we do exam on coding on paper. So I know it's a little bit ridiculous, isn't it? And for those who want to learn English with me, once again, please remember to follow and like. 如果大家想跟我一起学习英语，请记给我点点关注和小心心，谢谢。Okay. Yeah, almost 20,000 fans. Thank you. 是的，马上就2万粉了，太好了。Thank you everyone for your support, and I'm so glad to see lots of my old followers here. Okay, old followers. Is that the right word? I see my word bank is getting messed up today. Can you talk about AI in your daily life application? Okay. Do not tell my professors, but what I do with my AI is I don't have to listen to all of the lectures by myself again. So I use AI, I get the script, I input it into AI, and I get my professor's PowerPoints, I put it into the AI as well, and then my AI will be able to make notes for me. So on a daily basis, I use AI to make notes, to take lots of notes for me, and then to come up with questions, practice questions, and then multi-choice questions for me to practice. And other than that, sometimes I will write short essays with AI, not for assessments. Just to clarify, it's not for assessment. I write those little essays with AI specifically to practice my IELTS writing, because AI can summarize things up really well, and AI have a very big bank of vocabulary. I am trying to learn by getting the input from AI and from my teacher Nick at the same time. Okay, so that's how I use AI on my daily basis. And sometimes I would ask AI some random questions about maybe certain things happening in my life. Maybe I will ask AI, oh, how do I cook this? How do I make that? And how do I organize my schedule so I'm not too busy? Okay. So, do I speak? I do. Wait, I am speaking in English. I can understand what you're saying. Amazing. I'm so glad you guys can understand what I'm saying. So, okay. What else should we move on? I'll move on to one more IELTS questions and then we might get ready to finish. Mirrors. Let's talk about mirrors. These are all very, very interesting questions. Honestly, I've never thought about some of these questions in the IELTS exam. So guys, if you want to do an IELTS exam, you can search it up on your search engine. You can search practice IELTS questions. It'll come up with some list. I'll see if I can share some resources, but it is openly accessible. I know there is a website you can access to practice your IELTS. So you can just search up IELTS speaking questions from the past on your search engine. Okay. Some of these questions are quite odd, so I would recommend you look through them just in case the examiner asks you a very out of the blue question and then you run out of ideas of what to say. It'll be quite awkward to get stuck there. So sometimes I get a question I don't know, I would just link it to a topic I know instead. Okay. So, how often do you look at yourself in the mirror? I look at myself every day in the mirror, so I think it's almost all the time. Because I do my makeup in the morning, I have to look at the mirror when I do my makeup in the morning. I look in the mirror to check that my makeup is okay before my live streaming, and I will look at my mirror again when I am removing my makeup and washing my face at night. So I think I always look at myself in the mirror, and I think I like how I look, I guess. I think I'm pretty, maybe. Okay, that's really cringe. Do you have a mirror at home? Do you have a mirror at home? I think that's a no-duh question. I definitely have a mirror at home and I use it all the time. Literally cannot live without a mirror because I need to check my makeup, I need to check my hair, I want to see if I need to dye it again, if I need to adjust how I look, and I need to see at night if I'm removing my makeup, have I removed everything or do I look like there's a smear on my face somewhere? So yes, I definitely have a mirror at home. I have 2 mirrors at home. One to check my outfit, like a large mirror, like a whole body mirror, and one like a smaller mirror, just in the bathroom, my bathroom mirror. Okay. And then let's move on to the last questions. Would you use mirrors to decorate your room? Okay, from a very mythical aspect, apparently it's bad to have your mirror facing your bed. I just heard that as like a little thing. It's a thing that you don't face a mirror to your bed. So definitely no, because I don't want to face a mirror to my bed. Therefore, I do not want to use mirror to decorate my room. Also, I think it's quite creepy if you decorate a room with mirrors, right? Because you can see your reflection everywhere. I find it rather uncomfortable if I can see my reflection all the time everywhere. It just creates a sense of stress and a sense of awkwardness. So definitely no. Okay. Just gonna finish up now. Thank you everyone for listening to me today, and thank you for staying at the end. For everyone who wants to learn English with me, please remember to give me a follow and like. 如果大家想跟我一起学习英语，请记得给我点点关注和小星星，谢谢。And yes, maybe next time we might try some different topics and different ideas. I'm kind of running out of ideas of what to talk about, after doing a lot of live streaming. Yeah, okay. Where am I from? I am from China, the north side of China, 山西太原，我是北方人。Okay, great. The lights are... Okay, never mind. The lights just zoomed out. The lights just turned off by itself again. Thank you for the sign. Okay, this is the end today. Thank you everyone for watching, and I might finish up now. I'll see you next time. Okay, 我们下次再见。Bye bye. Thank you for listening, guys. And remember to follow and like.